Good morning. Welcome to the Java Cafe, Java fam.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. Today is Monday, March 10th, 2025, and you are in the Java Cafe this morning. It is Mental Health Monday, and we are definitely going to check in on our mental health this morning. A lot going on. We're going to do a little review of what went on this weekend in Washington and check in. Unfortunately, also, there is still a lot of death in our community, and there is a story that is in a newspaper that is impacting a lot of people in our community, and specifically within the runners world, as I observe on social media, and folks are just sharing. And so I would say we need to give the family space and grace in dealing with this situation. And I'm referring to it is in mainstream media, the murder that happened in Avon. And so I'm not going to say too much about it, but when I feel the release from the family to do so, I will share more. And just keep those that are in the runner community in your prayers. Many of them are active members of the Java Cafe. And so please keep that in mind this morning. We greatly appreciate it. Let's go in the Java Cafe and see who is in so far this morning. We're definitely going to look at the weather. I see Milagro is in the building. Milagro, you will be glad to know that 2 seconds before I started, I said, hey, Alexa, volume 0. So you're not going to hear Alexa in the background today. But let's go look at the weather real quick. Interesting weekend as far as the weather. I do need to let you all know that slowly but surely, my seedlings are turning into, now this is funny. I have either 5 cucumbers, 2 are straight cucumbers, 2 are pickling cucumbers, or 3 are straight and 2 are pickling, or 3 are pickling and 2 are straight, something like that. Or I have 4 cucumbers, 2 are pickling, 2 are straight, and I have 1 pepper. Somewhere in the seedlings, I got the little things where I'm growing the seedlings mixed up. And so I'm not going to be able to find out until the little flowers, but I'll put pictures up later. But yeah, we're doing a garden, and it's Mental Health Monday. And I got to tell you, for those of you that are considering gardening and have the space and the ability to do so, do it. I've made plenty of salads in my life. But one day when I got home and took out the cucumbers, the peppers, the banana peppers, the 2 types of lettuce, the green onions, and lemon balm, never, ever, let me say that right, have I grown my own salad. So we got collard greens. And anyway, it's Mental Health Monday. Wait, I see my auntie in the building, who I often attribute my start in the space of youth leadership and peer education and stuff like that. Auntie Maria here as Avis Winston was trying to teach us dance in the cave in Bromley Heath. Oh God. I was 10, 11, because she told us we couldn't wear jeans and stuff. And I remember these green pair of shorts that I wore. But anyway, Auntie Maria, it's good to see you in the room. And noticed and would have me help a little bit for the few sessions we had there at the cave. She is a dancer. She's a dancer. And look, wait a minute. Oh, good morning, nephew. You were so amazing. I'm so proud of you. Keep shining. The glow looks amazing on you. Love you guys. God bless. Good to see you in the room, Auntie Maria. Let's go in and say good morning to everybody else as I kind of veered off into a mental health space for me of gardening. But I did that because of the weather. I was out this weekend kind of measuring. I have like 20 feet by 20 feet. I don't know how many square feet that is. But when I tell y'all, the mental health of gardening is real. So right now it's 47 degrees. And guess what, y'all? By 4 p.m. today, it's going to hit 57 degrees. Sunny conditions will continue all day. The lowest feels like temperature was in 31 around 8 a.m. So with the wind at 8 a.m., it was a little bit lower than 47, but it felt like 31. So we're going to hit about 57 this afternoon. We're actually supposed to hit 60 tomorrow. So that's our weather. Let's go in the Java Cafe again and say good morning. And then we're going to get you to do, can you all believe in 2 weeks from today, we are going to celebrate 5 years. 5 years, a 5-year Javaversary. We're going to do it virtually on the 24th. And so I might go back this morning. I did find a proper file, y'all, finally, of the first episode. We're going to show little clips here and there. But Michelle D. Smith, good morning. Good to see you in the room. Mama Java, good morning to you. Good to see you in the room. I meant to see if you went to church or watched church yesterday. Sister Debbie, good morning to you. Good to see you in the room. Milagro, again, good morning. Good to see you in the room. Sharon Cornelius, good morning. Sharon's getting lazy, y'all. She'll come in and say, oh, there it is. Minutes later. Good morning, Sharon. Good to see you in the room. Also, I see our good sister, Asia. Good morning to you, Asia. I hope you heard the update, and I'll share it again. Pastor Rochelle, good to see you in the room this morning. Tay, also Sister Soraya, good morning to you. Good to see you in the room this morning. And also Miss Teresa, good morning to you. Good to see you in the room this morning. I think I got everybody over on Instagram. New Destiny Fashions, good morning. T. DeLeon, good morning to you. Good to see you in the room. Miami Inc., good to see you in the room. And also CMJS, Mommy, and J Rect, good to see you in the room over on Instagram as well. And so let's go in this morning and check in on our mental health, as we've been doing for almost 5 years. Probably started that a couple of months in. But do me a favor and put one word in the comments that lets us know how you're doing this morning. What's going on with you? Let's check in. In the meantime, I'm going to do just a little quick overview of what went on in DC this weekend, with the guy. Speaking of DC, there's still a lot of ripple effect from Mayor Michelle Wu's testimony in Congress on last week. So someone sent me, who sent it to me? Someone sent me a screenshot or a story about the fact that after the mayor's appearance the other day, 5 unions from across Massachusetts came out, was like, yo, we're endorsing you for mayor for Boston. And I can't find it in here, but as I was thinking about letting us know what's going on with the Orange Man out of DC, I did think about that Mayor Wu and Congresswoman Presley, they did their thing on Wednesday, and we gave a whole bunch of commentary on Thursday. Again, first time in Java history, 4.5 hours. We held down about 65 to 73 people engaged in federal and local policy. So we want to name that as well. And as we've been doing for the past 5 years, okay, let's go ahead and see the latest things that have went on in Washington. I think I got everybody in the room so far. Let me just double check and catch up real quick. Nicole, I'm not sure if I said good morning to you. Good to see you in the room. And also we got Auntie Maria, and that is it. Please also keep my Aunt Connie in prayer. Her and Uncle Lewis had a death last week. And so please keep the Johnson and Hills family in prayer. And so trade tariffs. President Trump signed executive actions delaying the implementation of 25%. These tariffs he's using as a bargaining chip, and they, in some cases, seem to be working. However, Canada, I heard that there's a rumbling about if America messes around too much, they're going to mess with electricity. And so he paused the 25% tariffs despite the delay. The administration plans to impose new tariffs on global steel and aluminum imports starting this Wednesday, March 12th. Diplomatic initiatives. Ukraine is set to propose an air and sea ceasefire with Russia during talks with the U.S. and Saudi Arabia this week. The U.S. delegation led by Secretary of State Marco Rubio paused for a minute. Did anybody see the footage of Marco Rubio in D.C. when Zelensky was there with the president? Every time the president talked, he would just sink into the couch. He looked like a little boy that just got in trouble. So Marco Rubio is dealing with that. Domestic policy, the administration completed a significant overhaul of the U.S. Agency for International Development, USAID, with 83% of its programs cut and remainder integrated into the State Department. These developments underscore the administration's focus on assertive trade policies and transactional approach tariffs to international relations and efforts to streamline federal operations. I'll go back to that in a minute. Let's go in and check our words this morning. I hear Donna Williams Bowen is in the building. Good morning to you. All right. Don't forget, you guys, our first one this morning is from Sister Debbie, who said that she is calm. And despite what's going on, I'm glad to see that you were calm. And again, Sister Debbie, thank you for your note about Wednesday. I love to see people from other states and countries hyping up Mayor Wu on TikTok and other platforms. Okay. I ain't seen too many but mine on TikTok. I got to go look. Miss Teresa, thank you. Praying for Auntie Connie, Conchetta Johnson, and the entire family. Thank you so much. Mark Rubio did look very embarrassed. Like, he looked like he was at wit's end. Reclaim Rural Incorporated. Good to see you in the room over on Instagram this morning. Dina, good morning. Good to see you in the room. Are you on your headphones or are you just watching? And on Facebook, you can scroll to the video and the captions will come across and you don't have to listen. I love you, Dina. That is one of the things that is very interesting as we are in this reflective mode of the past 5 years. Our numbers aren't what they were in 20 and 21. That's just obvious. On average now, we average about 18 to 19, maybe 20 live viewers a day. The afterwatch is still crazy. People that can't watch in real time, and because our videos are evergreen and stay up. But to the point about messing with Dina, WFH today. Wait a minute, what is that? Dina, you about to school me, WFH. I don't know. But I appreciate those of you that consistently for almost 5 years in the first year, every single solitary day for the first year. That just is still humbling to me. And I don't take for granted the people that come in now. Milagro, I know. Dina said, I do need to buy headphones, though. I only have some for my iPad. Miss Teresa, Miss Teresa said that her word for the day is mindful. So out of all of you folks in here, the 13, 14 of you fluctuating in here, I only see 2 people that gave me their word. So, work from home. I thought it meant something else. One letter change in there can change a whole sentence. Let me behave. I'm tired, y'all. This, and I want to talk about it a little bit. This time of year and in the fall on Mental Health Monday. Thank you, Michelle D. Smith, for your mental health status. Sister Soraya said that she feels humble today. That can go one of 2 ways. Being humble just in her spirit, or making sure that ain't nobody tried to humble you. I'll leave that right. Humble is good, but I'm going to leave that right there. Sister Soraya, you know where we stand. Miss Teresa, thank you. I heard. Tay, good to see you, and give your mom my. Oh, there she is. Is that her? Oh, your sister. Who? Yeah, that's her, Bev, in the picture. Tell her I said hello. Dina and both Sister Debbie said that their words are calm today. That is very good because it could be anxious. So we need to name that. So I'm glad to see that from both of them. Back to the politics just a little bit before we go to our next point. I'll just say I met one of the mayoral candidates this weekend. And it was interesting. So we thank God for Mother Sharon because she put her word and kind of broke for the commentary. Sharon Cornelia said that her word for today is grateful. Great. Tashad. Surprise, surprise. Tashad was there. Good morning, Tashad. Good to see you in the room. And you were a table and a half, maybe. One line, circle us. You were like 2 tables away from us. And I don't know if you observed, but yeah, it was interesting. So my point is in the politics piece, pay attention to what's going on. Yes, national and also local. The bike lanes are going to be a big issue in this mayoral campaign. They are. Last time the mayor was on. Ari, good morning. Good to see you. And I thought about you yesterday. I'll tell you about that later. There's a lot of debate about bike lanes. And when the mayor was last on, we talked about it. And currently there's debate about community meetings and whether they are just, to check a box or whether they are genuine. I'll just say residents. I won't even say the mayor. There are 2 residents that I know that are heavily engaged, that post, that share. I share some, not as much as I used to, and going to intentionally be better about that. They shared from White Stadium to American Legion when the first bike lanes went up, like in the hood like that. What's interesting now, and we have to pay attention, and the mayor made this point as well. There are a lot of people that go to these what she said was some of the people that come to the community meetings, these weren't her words exactly, they have the availability, they're locked in, they have the flexibility to go, whether they're hearings at City Hall, virtual, and they know about them. And let's keep it 100. As much as we post on social media, if your algorithms are not in a civic engagement space, you're more than likely not going to see a lot. It just unfortunately is how the things work. My point is, pay attention to what's going on, not just bike lanes. White Stadium is basically a done deal. It's been demolished. The lease has been signed. Now we as the community have to stay engaged in what's going on in supplier diversity and what's going on in the schedule for BPS and what's going on for the few. I think we have 7 football teams in the city, and I think 2 actually have their home turf. But they still, need access. That's one of the things that we've heard. But we also got to make sure that a lot of people that call themselves inserting, and the mayor said it the other day, a lot of people in this bike lane space and White Stadium and other spaces, they're not residents of Boston. May at one time, did they live here? Maybe. But come on, let's keep it 100. A lot of them are trolls and bots and political. So I'll wrap that up as far as politics. Speaking of politics, this Thursday, and I'm trying to confirm, matter of fact, let me ask right now. I'm trying to confirm if the mayor has any other sit-down interviews with anyone before Thursday. Mayor Wu will be with us on Thursday at, remember, 11 a.m. We are live this Thursday The 13th, right? This Thursday at 11 a.m. Hold on, I'm just asking right now. I will admit, and I'm going to do a little bit better as we flip into 5. This whole Milagro just made a good point away from Alexa. And Alexa is a good resource for this. Set reminders when you see stuff about things that are meetings online or in person, because if anything like me, I tend to forget by the time and date comes around. Not only forget, but just life sometimes. You don't remember. And a lot of us don't want to sit and go through the process of waiting 2 hours for testimonies from people within City Hall and departments that you can send a memo and get that information. Then you call the community in. And I'm not going to go there. Rochelle, good morning. Good to see you in the room. Rochelle, I named, and I did not go into a lot of detail, but I named that we need to keep the runner community in prayer in reference to what happened last week. And so, Rochelle, good to see you in the room. And please let the community know that there is a cadre of a family, a mother's board, a group of people that are praying, and let whom you need to know that we're praying for them. Okay. Good to see you in the room, Rochelle, this morning. And I'll text you. Shout out to your brother. Shout out to Jason Solomon. And I'll just leave that there. Thank you so much, sister. And we are set, I believe, April 12th, speaking of the runner community, and I'm sure there will be time reflected there in honor to what I'm referring, but we will be with Black Unicorns April 12th, getting ready for the marathon. I believe it's April 12th. Rochelle, correct me if I'm wrong. Okay, so that's all about politics. We're going to close it up with Pastor Marion's comment here. As R&R, reckless and rude as Boston drivers are, if there were no bike lanes and I could ride a bike, I would ride a bike. You and Miss Teresa are about to go in. If I could ride a bike, I would ride a bike here. I mean, Pastor Marion, they're what they're looking at now is the percentage of usage of these bike lanes. And in certain areas, they are not utilized. I have to also say that this is not just, okay, Rochelle, just a quick update. Thank you. April 19th, not April 12th. At least I got the month right. Oh, wait, but Pastor Marion corrected it. Hold on. Oh, Pastor Marion said, rude and reckless as Boston drivers are, as Boston drivers are a little bit. If there were no bike lanes and I could ride a bike, I wouldn't ride a bike here. And that is some of the conversation about the people that do. Now, though the percentages of those that are utilizing bike lanes in certain areas are small, for that small percentage, they want to be safe. That's fair. However, and this was a thought in real time, are they coming through that bike lane or do they live adjacent within blocks of that bike lane that they're using? Now, if it was just a thought, I'm just asking. So don't come trolling, trying to start trouble. This is a debate that is going to come up. It's going to come up in the mayoral debates. It's going to be an issue that city councilors are going to think about. There are organizers on the bike lane, favorable for bike lane sides. This Boylston Street bike lane that the mayor has determined is going to come down. She has paused either taking down or putting up bike lanes and doing a 30-day. She's paused some of them and doing a 30-day review of all of them. So while there is always room for our city councilors, our organizations that are in place and collect memberships and do things to advocate for us and keep us aware of things, the city councilors, ONS, Office of Neighborhood Services, the community centers can put flyers up. the elected officials and these community development organizations and other organizations, anybody and all, and I got to do better myself at posting, anybody and all, as much information as we can get out, we should. And when we do, in the planning, be sensitive to time for people that can't come to a hearing at 12 o'clock. They're taking off their lunch break. They sit online and then they miss their lunch and didn't even get a chance to testify. Yes, you can send in letters, but there's nothing like the live testimony in real time in case you say something and the counselor wants to ask you a clarifying question. So now more than ever, based on what's going on nationally and what is attempting to trickle that spirit into this local, we got to do better and pay more attention. So Niecy Williams says, don't step off the sidewalk on the bike lane unless you look. Niecy, unless you look both ways like you were taught when you were a child. Now, I'm going to be very real with you all. I believe Rochelle put in the form to register for Black Unicorns on April 19th. Niecy, I was crossing the street one day. And to your point about being trained as a child, I was proud of myself that, and then mad at the same time that right before I stepped into the bike lane, I looked both ways. And if you know me, I think you'll easily get the context of I was heated with, I'm old school. I get the balance, safety, all of that. But to old heads like me, the fact that we have a lane in the street for bikes and we've lost a lane for driving is interesting in our old school conditioning. So when I realized that I look both ways in a bike lane, Niecy, when I tell you I was so heated, I was so heated. And that may not be your point. Safety is, and it is an issue for bikers need to look out for. And let me say this also while we're talking. Now, these are typically non-scooters and our wonderful brothers that are hustling to make money, ride share services. That is an issue with parking and bus lanes and Blue Hill Ave. It's going to be interesting. Pay attention. Go to the meetings, business owners, community residents. And as far as the business owners and property owners, when y'all are in those meetings, just kindly say, do you live in this? We're just curious. Do you live in the city or do you just own this business or own this property in the city? Because it's very different in how they participate for some. My point is, when all this information goes out, do your best and try to attend. And if you have to, send in letters because they have to put them on record. So, all right, let's catch up. John Ross is in the building. Today is his birthday. John, happy birthday to you, 36, brother. Cool. Now, John, how did I tell people all the time that emojis typically don't show up in the comments? Do y'all see John's cool? Oh, it's not the emoji. It's well, never mind. John, happy birthday, man. Good to see you in the room. And we're glad that you are here and going to be here for 72 more. Good to see you in the room. Milagro is saying that some areas I see mostly young people speeding, doing crazy tricks on bikes. Nikki said, yeah. Sharon makes a point with Niecy. Niecy said, that's my point. Why? It should never happen. It should never happen. I mean, if a bike lane is there, we should look both ways. More utilization of bikes and electrical vehicles are better for the economy. The economy, maybe. Well, maybe not for some small businesses where the lanes are and people can't park anymore. Well, there's a wonderful article that came out in Boston Magazine that goes in and talks about Kraft, talks about Michelle, talks about Mayor Wu. So check that out in Boston Magazine. I'm going to share the link here. I think to see so I will not be the first interview on Thursday with the mayor. It'll be the first, but still, ain't nobody going. Anyway, getting back to bikes. Never mind bike lanes. We need jaywalking laws back. These knuckleheads on their phone and just stepping off the curb when there's a green light, man, they better watch out. It's 10:33. Peace and love. Good to see you in the room. A lot of young people and us jaywalk, and that would be very interesting. But we do need a safety on both ends. The pedestrians, the pedestrians, the bikers, and the car drivers need to pay attention. To my point about the scooters and ride share and whatnot. Y'all scooter drivers and motor powered bikers, for 6 inches, you want to be in traffic and go by the driving laws. And then for the next 2 inches, you want to weave in and out of traffic and then weave back in, and we're driving. You expect us to hold because you want to sneak back in? No, merge into traffic. You're happy tail just like a car, unless you're in the bike lane. And most of the times these, and y'all tell me, and anybody knows the rules, I don't know if the motor bikes belong in the bike lane. So talking about safety, it's on 4 levels. Pedestrians first, cyclists second, the motorbike people third, and then the big old cars fourth. Dina says in Canada, cars have the right of way, not the pedestrian. Haha. My hubby loves that. People here just cross the car and expect cross and the car is expect the big old car. And once you get that what is it called? Whatever, combustion behind it, then you got to pump on the brakes. And these days, these cars got these, when if you too close, it brakes automatically for you, and you sitting there like, wait, what? So we got to pay attention, not only in the civic engagement space, but literally every day, to Nisi's point. And whether we like it or not, in certain areas, the bike lanes are used, and in certain areas, they're not. So that's one of the things that is going to be a part of this local election. Dina said, did you hear the prime minister from Canada come back at Trump? If you're talking about the one that was trying to clap back and I hurt for him because he was stumbling over his words, yes, that's the worst, to type or say a clap back and you got typos, or you use the wrong word or a word out of context while you're clapping back. But and I said it earlier, Dina, that I've heard that they're using language like, if America acts up too much, that grid that we're a part of, that goes through Canada to some extent for our electricity. Y'all remember a couple of years ago, Anchor, I forgot the other one, were advertising generators and solar power, and then they were advertising MREs and military ready MERs, MREs on them, military ready eating something. We gonna need to pay attention and be prepared. Okay, we're going to get ready to wrap up this morning. It is 10:40. Tomorrow's Testimony Tuesday. We're going to come in. She said us do jaywalk professional. Milagro said she heard about the electricity. Michelle D. Smith says, got an issue with those white flexible barriers that divide the bike lanes. That divide the bike lanes versus traffic lane when there's a first responder vehicle coming through. This has been named a lot. If you're driving a motor vehicle, those barriers prevent you from pulling over to the curb to safety. That's a real issue. We've seen it. Now, I will say this. Essential Lady, good morning. Good to see you in the room. Sister Charlotte, good to see you. Humboldt Ave, if you notice, has the yellow paint all up certain parts of Humboldt Ave by the Quincy Street area, mainly where the schools are. Let's keep it 100. The Trotter down to I believe at the beginning. So for like 2 blocks, a block and a half, or even coming up to the Trotter, if you're coming down Humboldt Ave, down, which is going toward Nubian. Let's just make that plain. The yellow lines were in the street. I noticed the yellow lines, and then one day I'm driving, and I noticed these little white spots in the yellow lines. I don't remember who I texted or who I said, but I said, listen, let me tell y'all something. If they put them flexible white poles on Humboldt Ave, and the interesting thing about those, Ray Monet, good morning to you. The interesting thing about those are people are ripping them down. So that's money wasted. The last thing I'll say, and I don't think I finished this point before, a lot of this started prior to May. I worked for the mayor that started this. I worked for the mayor that created the bike czar. I worked for the mayor that if when he left, if there was a semi-division or department or focus on this, that is now extracted and is a whole group that with an office right there in Roxbury Crossing. So this started with Menino. Some of those contracts and things are signed. It's urban planning. Go up to a decade out. You got to sign the contract. They got to plan. They got to do a subcontract specs, and they have to do not RFPs, scope of service requests and things like that. Then Mayor Walsh came in. Some of that he had to continue with. Some of it he probably put some pause. Then Mayor Janey, short, brief period, not sure exactly what she did in them. And then we know that Mayor Wu is a progressive mayor and for climate and was kind of going with it. And then for the past like year or so, past few months, 6-9 months, is like, wait, hold on. What is it that we can do to hear the residents? And when she says here, residents in these community meetings, if it's the same 5 or 6 residents that are showing up, and those same 5 or 6 people are not the voice of the general community that can't make it to the meeting, but who's at the meeting to go back and report to the city what the community said, they can only report back what's said by. And that happens not just with bikes, and I won't say the term because someone told me to stop saying it. Tashad says any barriers or medians need to be permanent, preferably cement. They're more expensive, but they're usually more effective. And that's but with the barriers, to Michelle's point, if you have a first responder, Alexandra Valdez is on. Good to see you in the room. If they're at least with the flexible, and well, it's probably going to cause damage to the car, but these are things that these urban planners and Boston Traffic Department and Public Works and EMS and BPD and the fire department walk around, hear from the business owners, and in all fairness, even if they don't live in the city, if they own a business here. But we do need to know of these business owners and property owners who actually live on the property and in the city. Just good information. We're going to wrap it up. Tomorrow morning, Testimony Tuesday. Don't forget Thursday, Mayor Wu will be with us at 11 a.m. Thursday is 11 a.m. Also, March 24th, the actual anniversary. For old time's sake, we're going to 9 a.m. I have to be in Salem by 12 o'clock on anniversary day, because believe it or not, on that day at Salem, the secretary or the former secretary who was the secretary on March 23rd, who told Governor Baker, yep, got to lock it down. We're going to have a conversation at Salem State, her and I believe she's going to interview me with some social workers, and we're going to talk from the impact of their decision from a community standpoint. Particularly, I can only speak to Black and Brown. So 9 o'clock on the 24th. Please keep that in mind for old time's sake. 11 o'clock on the 13th, 9 o'clock on the 24th. Have a couple of Java After Darks coming in. Excuse me. ABCD will be with us on the 18th. I'm going to talk about their tax preparation services as well. And I think that's it for today. So shout out. I named everybody that jumped on from Instagram and also no, Asia. So I made an announcement the other day, Asia, and you didn't see it. We are moving back the anniversary. I did not do the proper planning leading up to from the Red Cup Awards to letting the awardees know so we're pushing it back because logistics, anxiety, I just did not. And so I actually talked to a venue yesterday. I'm having a small gathering with like the team on the 22nd. And then we may do something on the 23rd. I have a conversation tomorrow. So Asia, the tickets did not drop and if everything goes right for the big event, there'll be tickets, but there may not be a price to them. So Asia, thank you for keeping on me, and thank you for hitting me up the other day and volunteering help along with Miss Teresa and others. Thank you. Because of the tariffs on Canada, our Christmas tree I would hope that during that time of year, I would put it on Canada, that they would, still send a tree. Miss Teresa, what if they sent a Trojan tree for Christmas to our commons? Let me get off of here. It's sad that these are the times that we're in. America was one of the most respected countries. Let me get ready to go. Come back tomorrow at 10 a.m. We'll see you tomorrow. I don't know what happened over on Instagram. It looked like it stopped. So I'm going to get ready to wrap up. We'll see you guys tomorrow at 10 a.m. Y'all pray for the Christmas tree. And then if it does come, that it's not a Trojan Christmas tree. Imagine if they... That's crazy. That's crazy. Y'all have a good day. And they got some new features up on here. Milagro said they have a Christmas tree from Vermont. I know that's right. It's just a relationship thing, I guess, that they work on. But all right, we're going to get ready to go. We will be back tomorrow at 10 a.m. Thank all of you for joining us, and keep the Johnson family in prayer. Keep our runner community in prayer as well. And also, again, I seen one of the brothers, if you all remember a couple of weeks ago when Brother Bum passed, I kept referring to a good 30% of brothers in Boston right now are dealing with what I see now are about 5 or 6 deaths over the past month or so. One of the brothers put up a post up naming that they've been dealing with a lot of death. I think this morning or yesterday. So keep our brothers in prayer as well. Keep everybody in prayer, but specifically the Johnson family, our runner community, brothers dealing with the transition of a lot of our hood legends and legends here in the city of Boston. And I think that is it. All right. Naraki said that there is an Attleboro spot too. So to Shad's point, I think I conflated. To Shad's point of trees in Vermont for homes and individuals, I was getting off on the big tree that goes on the common. And if Canada wanted to be shady, they'll still let that tree come, but they'll put a little something in it. Little critter crawlers that get down in the common, and then all of a sudden our trees are just gone. They better not. All right. Y'all have a great day. We'll see y'all tomorrow at 10 a.m. Have a great day, everybody. Peace.